All right, everybody, let's get started. I have to shout. We're having mic problems. Come on in. So we're having wireless mic problems, so I'll shout. Hopefully you can hear me in the back. I'm Abraham Hyatt, and thank you for coming to Digital Journalism Camp. It's really cool to see this many people here. I've got a few housekeeping things I want to do really quickly, and some people I want to thank, and then talk really briefly about why we're here, and hopefully wrap it up in time for the first session. Bathrooms. Men's room is straight past the registration desk. Women's bathroom is you go through the hallway, past the elevators, turn right. The unconference session room is that way as well. You just turn left. If you've never been to a conference where they did an unconference format, it's really simple. There's some sheets on the wall, sheets of paper on the wall with time slots. You write the session that you think you want to have, and you help lead it. So if there's a topic that you think that we're not covering as part of the overall conference, grab some people and do your own session. I know that from 1 to 2, Brian Connolly from Small World News is going to be over there. He's that group is behind the Alive in Egypt, Alive in Libya project. If you follow what's been happening over there, or even if you follow Andy Carvin on Twitter, you're probably familiar with Brian and their work. So putting on an event like this, a free event, it's completely impossible without the support of companies. Perhaps not unsurprising, finding companies who are interested in supporting a bunch of journalists is not that easy. University of Oregon was one of our lead sponsors in 2009 when we had the first digital journalism camp. They did it again this year. They're buying lunches for everyone, which is really fun. OPB, I approached Morgan Holm about their VP of News about an idea of sponsoring travel stipends so that journalists from around the state could travel here for the camp. I don't know how many people are from using that stipend are here. The last I heard, people from as far away as Baker City and the Central Coast were coming, a couple points in between. The Oregonian was our host for the first conference. This time they really stepped up, and because of them, we get to have a keynote speaker. We get to have a really interesting person who understands sort of both sides, the digital and the print divide. Nozzle Media, if you've been to the website, you've seen a little widget up in the right-hand corner, so let you track real-time what the speakers and panelists have been talking about, their conversations online. So thank you, Nozzle. If you don't know it, it's a Portland, one of the Portland success stories for startups and journalism startups. Silicon Florist was also very helpful, so thank you, Rick. And then Web Trends. This is, we didn't have a camp in 2010 because I couldn't find a location. So I really appreciate Web Trends stepping up to this. Mike Gebhardt, who's around doing the video, was really instrumental in making that happen. He's also leading the charge on getting video of this entire conference so that people who aren't here can see it. Along with Mike, there's 3 other people I want to thank. I want to thank the volunteers who are helping today. But I really want to thank Devin Dewart, Cornelius Swart, and Betsy Richter, who were really fundamentally important. So thank you to those guys. So here we are, almost 2 years later after the first camp. the journalism ecosystem in Portland has changed a little bit. Everybody's operating on very tight budgets. We've seen actually some innovative stuff that's happened in the meantime. There's a couple startups that you'll hear from later on today, so I won't go into them. So I won't go into them. We've also seen some failures. Enzyme was a short-lived, for-profit online news site that came and went pretty quickly. Portland Voice, which was spun out of the We Make the Media conference, has never launched because they could not get, they're a nonprofit group, they couldn't get the funding that they needed. Innovation is risky. It's really not easy to, quit your job and, launch your dream startup. If you're in a news organization, it's really difficult to take a big leap and do some huge digital initiative. In 2009, the August 2009 camp, there was an idea that got brought up. It's talked about, elsewhere, but it really resonated with the group, which was the idea of embracing failure. That if you're innovating and you're trying new things all the time, you will fail, but you build off those failures as you move forward. It's really easy for somebody who's an entrepreneur to do that. Your whole outlook is based on that. It's a lot harder to do that as a large institution. Last year I spoke at the Oregon Arts Council Summit. That idea got brought up again. At one point in time in the conference, like 400 people there, this guy stood up and said, I wish I remember his name, he's from a small arts group in Eastern Oregon, and he said, we are too small to experiment and fail. We can't afford to do that. He said, so I am looking for other people to partner with so that we can fail together. I really liked that idea. And it made me think that I think one of the really profound changes that's happening in American journalism right now that doesn't get a lot of attention is in the last 2 years, the number of partnerships between news organizations has grown. You see them everywhere now. And I won't even list national examples. Locally, we've got the Northwest News Network, which public radio stations are using the same resources, partnering together. You have the Oregonian and their recently launched Oregonian News Network, where they're trying to create a symbiotic relationship network with local online sites. There's also a different kind of collaboration that I want to touch on. It's a little self-serving because I was involved with it, but one of the things that spun out of the last digital journalism camp was a series of social hours that have been happening in Portland and at first they were highlighting or spotlighting local innovative projects. It's morphed into now talking about taking an idea, a topic, and just sitting around in a very informal session and setting and talking about it. You're not looking for giant solutions. You're just talking about what works, what doesn't work. We've done it for mobile technology. We've done it for community management. Why do we have to talk to our users? I'm really excited, and I think that right now we have about 20, 30 people who show up from Oregonian, from the Columbian, from local news sites, from the tech community. I think it's going to keep growing this year. I want to see workshops incorporated into it. Some people are not interested in that kind of sharing. When I was putting this together, I ran into this a few times of people who were completely against coming here to this camp and talking about what they do. It was evident that they thought that that they would be revealing too much to their competitors to simply talk about the strategies, what they have found that works and what they have found that doesn't work. And my comment to those people would be, get over it. Get over it. Our problems are not that unique. We all share an enormous amount of the same issues that are affecting the entire country on a local, hyperlocal, large scale. You may not be able to quit your job and create that startup. If you're a legacy institution, you may not be able to do some big, huge digital initiative. But if you're a reporter, you can email a couple of your colleagues in whatever city you live in and say, hey, let's go grab a drink and talk about X. Let's go to a coffee shop, let's all meet together and talk about this. What works, what doesn't work. If you're a publisher or editor-in-chief, of a news organization, yeah, maybe you can't do some big project, but you can go join those reporters. You can sit down with them and talk about those same issues from your perspective. We can survive without each other, but by doing that, we would be missing out on one of our greatest resources, which is each other. So with that in mind, let's start off with the first sessions. One more time, thank you guys for coming.